Today is March 29th, 2021. I am up here in the White Mountains of New Hampshire at the overlook on the Kankamegus Highway. This is not the most popular time of year to be here. It's really cold actually, but I have come to try to take a picture of the full moon. It might work. I'm out here trying. So far no moon. I'm taking a picture of the stars while I wait. Hope it comes soon. This photo might be beginner's luck, but I want to remember how I did this so I can try it again. So I'm making this video. The first thing I did was choose a location. I knew about that lookout up on Kankamegus Highway. I knew that it looked to the east. I checked this on Photo Ephemeris at home, and it looked like it might work, but I couldn't tell for sure about the foreground. I got my camera all set up because once you set your scene, that you're going to take the picture of the moon rising through. You can't move the camera at all. I had set up things on the camera ahead of time. I set the camera to underexpose the moon. I went on the camera's exposure meter, exposure settings, and just cranked it down 1 or maybe 2 places. I had my intervalometer in my hand, and I was going to set it up in a program to take a lot of pictures, like every 3 seconds. But I didn't do that. I decided to do it manually, just push the button. 1250 looked good on the back of the camera at the beginning, but as soon as the moon started coming up, I decided I needed to change my ISO lower. And since I was manually pushing the intervalometer button, it was no problem to just in between go into the camera settings and lower the ISO. And by the end, I was shooting at 640 ISO. I think I changed my ISO 3 times. And then later in editing, I was changing the contrast on that moon like every 3 to 5 images. In fact, what I'm trying to say is that the lighting on the moon as it's first rising changes dramatically. What I actually saw on the back of the camera was the red glowy moon and all black. So I didn't know if it was going to work or not. What I actually saw in person was amazing. An amazing, large-looking moon on the horizon, very glowing red. It was hard to know whether I should look at the moon or look at my camera. I had to sort of do both. But at that point that I was finished taking all my series of moons, that is when I decided to take the scenery picture, the foreground, background, whatever you want to call it. I knew that would need a lot of light, so I decided to do a 3-minute exposure. So that was that, and then I wasn't even going to know if it worked until later when I saw it in the editing software. Here are all the moons. So as I scroll through, you can see the moon rising. There it goes. Opening Photoshop, I go to File, Scripts, Load Files into Stack. It says what files? I say Browse. I had put all of my raw files into a folder. Select all. Open. Okay, so here is that last picture, which is there, and now Photoshop is going to load all the layers over here. It's going to take a little while. Photoshop has finished loading the layers here, and we're going to go to the top one, and then under Layer, Going down to layer style. At the top it says blending options. And right here I'm going to choose lighten. I don't fully understand this, but my guess is that it allows the lightest thing to rise to the top. Right click, copy layer style, which was lighten, and then I'm going to select all the rest but not the base layer, and then right click, paste layer style. This makes them all lighten. And now you can see all the moons on top of the background. And that's kind of fun in itself, but now what I want to do is go through and get rid of some of them. So actually what I started to do was the very top one, because you probably can't see on the screen, but it's discolored right there into this overly bright part there. So I just started by looking, do I want that moon or not? And I decided no. And then next one, and I kept going, and then I decided that one. So I'm going through here to all these eye symbols to see the layer or not. Okay, now you can see a moon. Now the next one I'm going to leave there and then start creating another gap. At this point you could use your Photoshop expertise to edit as you wish. I do not have any Photoshop expertise yet, so what I did, I flattened the image and then I went to filter and I jumped into my Luminar through Photoshop. I've had Luminar longer, so I understand it better. But for the sake of demonstration, why don't I just do a natural filter, and that's going to increase contrast and saturation possibly. I'm just going to tone it down a little bit and say apply, and that brings it back through to Photoshop. And that's basically all I did. So I can't wait to do this process again in the future and continuing to learn more about Photoshop.